forearm issues are super, super common in both the worlds that I'm part of, and what I've found is that all the stretches that I've used for my forearms as a drummer also work really well for pickleball. So if you are looking for some relief from forearm tightness and pain, go ahead and keep watching. I will mention, of course, that I'm not a physician or a physical therapist, and the things that I'm showing you are just stretches that I've found to be effective over the years. Ultimately, you have to figure out what's going to work for you best. Let me know in the comments which of these stretches you like, any favorites of yours that maybe I've left out, or anything else that you find really effective for recovery. The first thing I like to do after a practice session is to do some light massage of my forearm muscles. For this, I'm going to use a device that's called the stick. There are lots of different kinds of massage sticks out there. Say that 10 times fast. Massage sticks. Massage sticks. So all these massage sticks that are out there, they're really, really popular for all kinds of athletes and especially for runners. The one that I'm using here is called the Sprinter stick, I think. I'm bracing one handle of the stick on my drum throne, and I'm holding the other with my other hand. I'm digging into the muscles on the top and the bottom of my forearm, and I'm using a decent amount of pressure, but I'm not going too crazy, as it's really easy to give yourself bruises if you use too much pressure. I'm doing about 60 motions on each side of my forearm, so I'm trying to target however many muscles there are in the forearm. I think there's like 7 or more. Again, not a physical therapist, but I'm trying to just work each of those muscles pretty evenly. The other thing I'm trying to do is to keep the wrist of my hand that's on the handle pretty neutral. And I'm trying to keep my grip just tight enough that I don't drop the stick, but really that's it. You'll notice that the plastic core of the stick kind of bends around my forearm, and that helps the plastic rollers to make solid contact with the muscles. Now that I've got some more blood going to the muscles, I'm going to start the actual stretching. The first stretch is called the Pretzel, and you can pretty immediately see why it's called that. I'm using a pair of heavy metal drumsticks for this, but you can actually use regular drumsticks or really any kind of wooden dowel for this kind of stretch. You can even use the stick for this that I use for the forearm massage, but it kind of bends too much. So ideally you want something that isn't going to bend and is about 16 or more inches long. This stretch is really fantastic for the forearms and wrists, and I don't really know any other stretch that replicates this one. I'll hold this stretch for about a minute, and then I'll go to the stick-assisted thumb stretch on each hand. This stretch, the Pretzel, is a bit tricky to get in and out of, so I can make another video just about this one, Or you can feel free to slow this video down to see how I get in and out of the stretch in a little bit more detail. You will notice that I raise and lower my hands while doing this stretch, and that's to vary the amount of stretch overall that's happening. After the pretzel, I'll stretch each thumb using one of the drumsticks for 30 seconds. With this one, I'm just extending my thumb along the stick and I'm lightly pulling back with my other hand. You'll definitely want to go easy on this one because it doesn't take a lot to start feeling some pain if you pull the stick back a little bit too far. After that stretch, I'm going to do about another 45 seconds of the pretzel again, and then I'll shake it out for a few seconds to get the blood flowing back into my hands. The next stretch is bending each wrist back towards your forearm, which is also called wrist extension. With this one, I like to make sure that I have my forearm as straight as I can get it, and that the hand that's pulling back is super relaxed, and that the pulling wrist is in as neutral position as I can get it in. For all of these stretches, you want to try and make sure that the hand and the arm that aren't being actively stretched are as relaxed and loose as possible. You don't want to be helping one side while hurting the other. I hold this stretch for 30 seconds for each hand. After the wrist extension, I go into a wrist flexion stretch. Just like the extension stretch, you want to make sure that your non-stretching wrist is in as neutral position as you can get it, and that your off arm is relaxed. You really just don't want to undo the work that you just did. I find it helpful to vary the amount of tension that I'm putting on the system, if you will, as I go through each of these stretches. In other words, I do a lot of tighten and then relax within each 30-second block of stretching. This next stretch is a kind of upside down extension, which really heavily targets the muscles on the bottom side of the forearm. This one is fantastic for pickleball players out there because these muscles can get really fatigued from hitting lots of forehands, as well as having a bit too much tension on the pinky side of your paddle grip. Next, I do a variation of the drumstick thumb extension, but this time with my thumb upside down on each hand. I hold this one for 30 seconds per side as well. Again with this one, watch the angle of your off wrist and make sure that you're in as neutral a position as you can get in. For the last minute and 20 seconds, I stretch each finger of my paddle hand individually for 20 seconds. I find that this reinforces what I've already done, but just does a bit more individual targeting of the muscles within my hand. This whole post-practice or post-game massage and stretching routine takes me about 10 minutes. I found that it's super helpful in terms of mitigating the amount of tightness and pain that I experience. Give some or all of it a try and let me know what you think.